Welcome to the political segment of the weekend show. It's good to have you back here with us. Today we have a sit-down exclusive with Senator Garba Maidoki, who is currently serving his first term as senator representing Kebbi South Central District in the 10th National Assembly here with us. Thank you so much for coming back, sir.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
Yes, it's good to have you.
Good afternoon, viewers.
So, reflecting on your first year in office, how has it been? Has there been any significant achievements, any challenges? How did you address them? Just give us an overview of your first year in office.
Well, thank you very much. For a first timer, like you said, and probably I keep saying that I'm an accidental politician because I never ever thought in my life that I was going to be, that I will contest any political office. But as Providence will have it, here I am today. The fact that I'm not a professional politician and the art of lobbying, sometimes outright falsehood, which characterized Nigerian politics, became a very big challenge to me. I was thinking that everybody will be given his CV and his experience, and that determines where he was going to contribute to the national development. Unfortunately, I came to realize that was not it. It is how connected you are to those who will appoint you, irrespective of what your pedigree is. And so we found ourselves in a new system that you have to contend with and work with people from diverse background and diverse interest associations. And we have to sit down a little bit, lay back, and learn. And by the grace of God and the courtesy of the Senate President, I was made the chairman of legislative compliance, which ensure that all Nigerian legislations or laws, pronouncement of the Senate, and resolutions are adhered to, and where they cannot be, we are in talking terms, and so that we can reflect and retune those laws or resolutions to be in line with what can actually be implemented and in the wish of Nigerian people. We have our ups and downs. Some of the items or what we have achieved was the first time for me to do budget for Nigeria. It wasn't the first time for me to do budget. I've been doing budget for 30-something years for the oil and gas, where I supervise all the procurement of all the major international oil companies, joint venture companies. So it's not new to me. But the budget for Nigeria is quite challenging and new to me. Where I came from, budgets are made with corresponding work programs. And those work programs are prioritized from first to the last, so that if the revenues we estimate will fall short, we know which item we are going to drop, and if we drop that item, we know what the consequence will be in terms of production of crude oil. But for Nigeria, there are social investments somehow that you cannot quantify how their impact will be, like the National Orientation Agency. So we just have to find a way and adapt quickly. We have adapted. We have passed the first budget for 2024. We have passed the supplementary budget for 2023, and we have extended it up to December 2023. Only the capital, mind you, because the recurrent part of it is already been taken care of in 2024 budget. But the capital budget, for which the growth and development of this country lies, and for which we are not able to achieve in 2023, that budget has been extended up to December 2024. It's a steep learning curve. We have our mistakes and we have our wins. But overall, we have adapted, and I believe we are representing our constituencies very well. Thank you.
Speaking of your constituents, has there been any bill or initiative that you've passed? Has there been any action you've actually made that has created a positive impact for your constituents as their senator?
Thank you very much. I came into politics simply because of the increasing activities of banditry, cattle wrestling, kidnapping in my area. I'm a full-time commercial farmer when I retired, but the activities of bandits and kidnappers and cattle wrestlers have sacked, before I became a senator, they have sacked more than 100 villages in my constituency. And every major town in Kebbi South is under the threat of invasion by bandits, including the emirate headquarters of Zuru and Yauri. Farming has reduced to less than 20% of our capacity because farmers cannot go to the farm. So this is my number one agenda when I contested. Our second agenda is, you cannot believe it. When I was in the university in 1980s, early 80s, from Zuru to Kwantagora, which is the gateway of going to Lagos, is 125 kilometers. And the Peugeot 404 just came into production. And there was a slogan, 1 hour, 1 naira. So you travel to Zuru to Kwantagora, 125 kilometers, you pay 1 naira, and you arrive in 1 hour. But believe me, this now 1 hour journey has turned to 7 hours because we are completely cut out of this country. From every angle, we have 3 major roads that connect our emirate. The Kwantagora Road, the Benin Yauri Road, and then onward to Sokoto and Zamfara. From every angle, a journey of 1 hour has turned to 7 hours. So, that was what brought me into politics. And this is what we told the Senate in session. And to the glory of God, the Senate President called all the security agencies, and we sat down, we brainstormed, and even before we confirmed them, we told them to give us their KIPs for which we can measure their performance. And the Senate President agreed that we should keep KPIs for them. To the glory of God, today, my senatorial district is 80% secured in 1 year. I am from PDP, but I will not fail to commend the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu for this achievement. We have cried, and they have listened. We still have 20% challenge. Just last 2 weeks, bandits invaded certain villages and went away with 500 cows. they killed about 40 people in about 20 villages. But the villages have not been ransacked completely. So we are still vulnerable. We are still talking of this insecurity, so that we've seen signs that the government is serious in tackling this issue, and we want them to continue on the same trajectory. What has happened in the last 8 years of the previous administration, we have cried, nobody listened. Nobody even sent off condolence. You know, a particular day, 160 youths were killed in one day, and not even a condolence from the federal government. We are 100% agrarian society. We are farmers, and we feed the nation. Maize, we grow maize, we grow rice, paddy rice, we grow beans, we grow soya beans, we grow granite, and it's the food basket of the Northwest. Unfortunately, see where we are. For the last 8 years, we have not been able to farm conveniently. And today, when I was farming, a bag of maize was 4,000 naira. And today, 2 weeks ago in my village, a bag of maize was sold for 105 naira. And what do you attribute to this? People who are not in the farm, they were all being driven away from their farms. But we've seen little progress now, or we can say we've seen some progress. Of this 80%, almost everybody has gone back to the farm. So we are hopeful. Even the remaining 20%, they've all gone back, but they were raided occasionally. They crossed the river from Zamfara, because we have a border with Zamfara. They crossed the river from Zamfara and then entered. But the security people were grateful. We called the army, and the army responded. But as you know, the number of security personnel that are required to protect that area is still undermined, and we are still calling. The army has bought a land in one of the areas called Wasagu. They bought the land in order to erect a forward operation base. 2 years today, that forward operation base has not been created. We are appealing to the leadership of the Nigerian security that forward operation base, if it is created, we are sure most of those challenges will be addressed. And one of the largest secondary schools in that area is empty because students cannot go to school. Everybody is afraid of being kidnapped. So the whole school is empty. We are praying and we are urging the leadership of the army that they can use that secondary school as a temporary base to house these security personnel, so that the problem of food security in this country, if we joke with it, is at our own peril. So we hope and we are very optimistic with what we have seen so far. And mind you, before this government, there was not a single APC in the whole of Kebbi South. As I'm talking to you, we have more than 20 APC in Kebbi South, armored personnel carriers, which is armed. And it helps in the execution of this war. We just want the army and the security personnel, the police. Some of them have made the ultimate sacrifice. Some of them have lost their lives. I know so many of them that lost their lives. They paid the ultimate price for this country so that we can be safe. And we appreciate that their service with heavy heart, but we hope their lives should not be in vain. So back to those achievements. The security portion of it, we have made significant effort. The road infrastructure, we are still talking. I raised this issue up in the Senate, and the Senate President has promised me that since we've been cut out of this country, that he will find a way that road between Birnin Yauri to Zuru will be included in the 2024 budget. Unfortunately, At the first stage of the budget, it wasn't included. But I'm prayerful that this will be included in the supplementary budget. I've written the letter to the Senate President. I've written the letter to the President of this country. I've written the letter to the Minister of Finance. I've written the letter to Minister of Planning, and they are all aware. I've written the letter to the Minister of Works, and I'm hopeful that this supplementary budget, this road will be captured so that my people can have succor. Vegetables, pepper, onion, tomatoes, these are things that we export, we send to Lagos on a regular basis. No night that 20 trailers don't leave. But today, the same that journey from my area to Lagos take 5 days. And you know these are perishable goods. And that is the situation. We have not lost hope. If we have lost hope in Nigeria, I won't be a senator today. We are very hopeful. This is where we are. This is our scorecard as at today. Thank you.
So let's talk about Nigeria now. From governance to security, which you touched on, to the economy, how would you assess the current state of affairs of the country?
Thank you very much. Last time I was here, I was given an analogy of how to manage an economy, however good you are. And the analogy is, you have a car with a windshield in the front and in the back. If you paint the windshield back black and you paint the windshield in front black and you are only seeing from the side, that is how difficult it is to manage the economy. Everything is estimated on assumptions that certain things will work the way they should. That's satisfiable, as economists will say, all things being equal. But normally, all things don't stay equal. So we sit down, we give it the best thought, and sometimes things just automatically leave out of which we have not considered, just pop in. We have never, ever imagined that a bag of maize will cost 100,000 in Nigeria. I've never, ever imagined it in my wildest imagination. But today, that is the reality. So, the economy is incremental step. It's like you are in a rug, a ladder. You have to take the first step before you reach the second step. And unfortunately, I make bold to say the first step that the previous administration took has took us back to zero level or minus zero level. There was nothing, recklessness in the economy and mismanagement. And for anybody who comes, he will have a Herculean task to manage this country. But that's not an excuse. The president knew this, and he said he's capable of handling it. So there is no excuse. Handle it. We are working on it. We'll give him all the support he needs to make this country great. We were accused by our constituents that we passed the budget in one day. Yes, we did. And it was simple. The president came new. The economy was in tatters. What can we do to show him we want to partner with him so that this economy can move? And we have demonstrated that as a National Assembly. But we also sound a note of warning, because I don't want to think of the National Assembly as a rubber stamp. But the National Assembly and government have the same objective. How do we move Nigeria forward? So, concrete engagement, concrete criticism, concrete opposition, so that the government can get it right. Because mind you, if this government fails, Nigeria has failed. And as one young lady called me one time, and she used a foul language to pass her message to me, that we are all in a deep mess, and if nothing is done, we will all be sorry for it. So we urge the president to go wherever there is leakages. And we appreciate one thing. You remember there was leakage in the humanitarian affairs with the palliative. He quickly sacked the ministers and the head of that administration. Previous administration never sacked anybody, no matter how corrupt he was or no matter how lackadaisical he was. I'm not a PC person, but I will not fail to recognize progress when I see it. And we will criticize him to show him what we think will bring Nigeria out. And we are waiting for the supplementary budget any moment for 2024. And nobody told us it's not in the Senate, but if what we are hearing is true, we are expecting it. We believe that generally the present crop of Minister of Finance, Attorney General of the Federation, who is the Chief Law Officer, and some seasoned technocrats will take this job seriously. We want to compliment them, but we will not pass the budget in one day. If anybody has that motion in his mind, please let him drop it. This time around, we will look at the budget critically. We will look at what happened to 2024 revenue. We are already executing budget of 2023 with 2024 revenue. What happened to 2023 revenue? We need to be told, and we want them to prepare. We are telling them in advance to prepare. If they are coming, please come with us with the revenue profile of 2023. Tell us what you have done with it, that you cannot finance the 2024 budget up to today. Then come to us with the 2024 revenue, that we have not implemented the budget up to today except for recurrent. We are not fighting. We just want you to get it right. Thank you.
But with the National Assembly, because you've mentioned the president, is there any legislative action that can be used to address the economic challenges?
Well, we have sat down. As a farmer myself, I know how much it costs to produce a bag of maize. I know how much it costs to produce a bag of paddy. So, the last time we sat in the Senate, we urged the president that that time the price of maize, bag of maize was about 50,000. And to me, I know 20,000 will produce a bag of maize in Nigeria, despite the current challenges. So we asked the president to import food directly, so that the price should be around 30,000. The farmer is still making 10,000. And if you make 10,000 out of 20,000 investment, I think it's 50%. And that is good profit margin.
But would you say importation is the right way to go?
It's not the right way to go, but you don't have a choice today. Things are so bad, things are so hard. If you are a civil servant that earn 50,000 naira a day, for God's sake, tell me how you are going to survive. If you have just one wife and 2 children, you have to pay school fees. So we are urging that the matter of food crisis should be taken seriously. I understand the government has liberalized the importation of food items. All tariffs are dropped, but that is leaving this thing to the hands of private individuals. Time is running out. There is no time for market forces. Mr. President, please import food. There is no time for market forces to deliver on the cost of living. Please engage other government and bring in food as fast as possible. Then let the market forces follow eventually. This is a crisis. Thank you very much.
So How long now do you think it will take for things to get better? Because right now, based on past conversations, we see that Nigerians are usually urged to just be patient.
Yeah.
Things will get better. How long should we stretch our patience as Nigerians?
I tell you, thank you very much. And I thank Nigerians for their patience. I cannot imagine any other country in this world like Nigeria that people are undergoing what they are going and still trust us that we will make a change. But sometimes good change can be painful. We have the capacity to produce food for the whole of Africa. But as long as this crisis of farmers and this cattle wrestling and banditry continue, we are just playing with water. We don't know how far it will go. And you remember, how much is our crude oil production? Everybody is depending on crude oil to import everything which we can produce by ourselves. So, I am very optimistic that if we control banditry to certain level, that by November next year, the price of maize will come to at least or at most 35,000. But if we don't control it, I can guarantee you that we might be paying 200,000 for a bag of maize. I'm not sounding doom, but I'm being realistic. I sit with people and I know where it pinches. Thank you.
So before we go, looking ahead, is there anything you'd like to say to Nigerians concerning the hardship that we're all facing right now?
Well, I have a few things I want to say, not as a politician really, but as a patriot. We've seen the Arab Spring. What good did it deliver to the Arabs? Zero. Eventually, they ended up with a dictator, a military government. We've seen the uprising in Sudan. What did it add in Sudan into? So, whatever our level of frustration, we should not turn into Sudan. I understand there is hunger, but I'm praying and begging Nigerians that we should not turn into Sudan. Because if it's back, only God knows the level that it will reach. And I also call on all of us, the politicians and the government, that we should not take Nigerians for granted. The government, I'm not accusing any governor, but I know that president has given money for governors to give palliatives to Nigerians. And as a person who relates with the grassroots, I can tell you those palliatives has not reached 10% of Nigerians. I'm begging the state governors. Today, we are in crisis. It's not a matter of politics. It's a matter of staying alive and staying as a governor. If we joke with the palliatives that we are giving people, then don't blame people for whatever consequence it comes. I'm aware the president has given between 40 to 60 trucks to the state governors of fertilizers. This is a key ingredient for producing food. I am begging them, they should not turn this. The time of politics is over. It's the time to build a nation. That this fertilizer should reach the average farmer. And I keep telling them, I produced about 5,000 bags of cereal before I was sacked. For the whole year I farmed, I have never received more than 2 bags of fertilizer. That was during those governments that were even considerate. In the last 10 years, I can talk of Kebbi State. No single fertilizers was given to farmers. And without fertilizer, this is the farm we have been growing food year in, year out. For 10, 20 years, the fertility has turned to zero. Without fertilizer, you cannot grow anything. Please, this fertilizer that is given to state, 40 trucks, at least a truck should reach each local government. The senators too, we were told we will be given 2 trucks of fertilizer. So let the whole world know, let Nigerians know that the senators, we have not been given yet, but we were told we will be given 2 trucks of fertilizer. And the House of Reps will be given 1 truck of fertilizer. Let Nigerians know and put eye. If this fertilizer is given, let them put eye on it that it actually get to the end users. Time to play with Nigerians is over. And we as members of the National Assembly saw what happened in Kenya. The first anger of the masses is always subjected to the National Assembly. And if that anger reaches us, I don't know who among us will be alive to tell the story. Wallahi, I have nothing to hide. I have never stole a kobo from government. I have never shortchanged anybody. I am proud of my service. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Senator Maidoki, particularly on your insight on governance, security, the economy, and all you're doing for your constituents at Kebbi South.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.